Hey, Toxikites. Um, you can tell from the title that I'm going to be talking about timelines again. But seeing as though I've brought out the notebook again and another Sharpie, things are going to get crazy. Because this time it's not educational. This time I'm trying to figure out what the actual hell is wrong with the people that write The Flash. Um, Alright, so phase one, we're going to be talking about the season one timeline, right? Season one timeline. Okay. Okay. So we'll treat this as the beginning of season one, and this as wherever in the future the Flash and the Reverse Flash become enemies. The Reverse Flash travels way back before now to 15 years before this point to kill the Flash's mother to prevent him from becoming the Flash, right? This traps him in the past because without a Flash, then there's no Speed Force for the Reverse Flash to ever get his powers from. But if that's the case, then he wouldn't have been in the past to begin with, and the new timeline would have erased him from existing based on season 5, but we'll get there. Right, so he has to create the Flash so that he'll create the Speed Force and he'll get fast enough to create a time portal to send the Reverse Flash home because his connection to the Speed Force in the past is not strong enough for him to reliably travel back to his home. That's fine. That is fine. That's fine. Okay. But unfortunately for the writers, they picked the most definitive way possible to kill off the Reverse Flash. And right about here, Eddie Thawne committed suicide, erasing his existence, which caused a black hole that was going to wipe out this whole time period right here, right? The Reverse Flash, the Flash undid this wormhole, and it thusly, protected them from all the effects. Yay! Looks like a face now. But that's not where things start getting out of hand. They get out of hand in season 2, when somehow the Reverse Flash returns, right? So the Reverse Flash is from a future where the Flash became the Flash at some point in his life, and he met Reverse Flash and became enemies, all that good jazz. Too bad nothing that's happened on the show can take place on that same timeline. Here's the thing, right? In this episode, Barry accidentally breaches to Earth 2, even though it was a time portal. But I guess it's a space-time portal. That's fine. The Reverse Flash sees Jay Garrick's helmet. I'm going to draw his helmet real quick. It's got wings. Boom, Jay Garrick's helmet. Can you see that? Jay Garrick's helmet. And it's like, oh, that's my cue to leave. So I guess he's from a time where Jay Garrick existed, but that can't be because Jay Garrick doesn't exist on Earth 1, and the John Wesley Shipp version of Jay Garrick doesn't show up until such time as the portal that forms after the Reverse Flash is defeated breaches to Earth 2. Now, I can understand that by the time the Reverse Flash is actually born, that maybe what happened is commonplace history. It's in the Flash Museum. It's accessible. But it wouldn't have been until it happened, right? Here's the thing, right? The Reverse Flash shows up at about this point in season 2, right? But it's the Matt Letscher Reverse Flash, not the Tom Cavanaugh Reverse Flash. It is not the Reverse Flash that became Harrison Wells, because once he learns that Barry Allen is the Flash, the season 1 timeline is bound to happen, right? He's going to go back in time and trap himself in the past and all that good stuff. So he's from a point in time where he has not yet done this, so he hasn't gotten stuck in the past. He hasn't created a timeline where he eventually gets erased. He's a timeline remnant. Okay, that's fine. It doesn't make any sense, but it's okay because since Barry's mother's death way back here at the beginning of the timeline was a fixed point, since that has not yet happened, we can treat the Reverse Flash's existence as an eventuality, not a current happenstance. Cool? Cool. Now, the Reverse Flash timeline doesn't really matter all that much until season 5, but real quick, let's just talk about... Wow, I've wasted a lot of pages. But real quick, let's just talk about season 3, all right? The season 3 timeline. Okay. So, at the beginning of the season 3 timeline, we are dealing with Flashpoint. And it gets undone in that same episode, whatever. but somehow the ripples from what occurred in the Flashpoint timeline are affecting the post-Flashpoint timeline. That's not important. The biggest change that comes from this is Savitar. Why am I holding this up? The biggest change that comes from that is Savitar. Savitar is Barry Allen from the future turned evil. I don't know how he turned evil. He turned evil because, I guess at this point, whatever, Iris West gets killed, right? And then Barry Allen, at some point between now and 2024, creates a bunch of time remnants to try to defeat Savitar. Savitar kills all but one of them, and that one becomes Savitar. And Savitar travels from, we'll say here, all the way back to the beginning of time, apparently, to take a piece of calcified Speed Force energy to the past to make it the Philosopher's Stone. And then he builds the cult of Savitar, blah, 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 blah. A, how did the first Barry Allen become Savitar? B, Savitar and the Reverse Flash can't be from the same timeline, because in a timeline where Barry Allen becomes Savitar, he obviously could not have been the Flash for Eobard Thawne to become enemies with, because he's a bad guy. And he's been trapped in the Speed Force prison since, I don't know, maybe for centuries. Barry has to create a lot of stuff that he hasn't created yet. Gideon, the Speed Force prison, the Flash ring, which was brought to him from the future, whatever. Point is, they can't be from the same future. That's just how that is. Okay, so enough about Savitar, at least for right now. Here we come to season 5. Harrison Wells is in a prison in the year 2049. Also, season 3, real quick. Barry travels to the future to the day that he goes missing, but he wasn't missing that day. He was just chilling out, having emo hair, like, even longer than my hair. I shouldn't have done that. I screwed up the focus. Point is, season 5, the Reverse Flash is in prison being held there because of Cicada's dagger. So he creates a timeline where Nora goes all the way back to the beginning of the season and smashes the Enlightenment satellite and creates a different Cicada, a Cicada that is weak enough for Team Flash to defeat. Because if they can destroy the dagger, then he'll be free in this time, blah, blah, blah. If you send her back, then you create a timeline where the dagger is thereby destroyed. The dagger doesn't have to be destroyed at this exact point in order for it to no longer exist here. All the dagger has to do is get destroyed somewhere on this timeline. It's not like an instant effect type thing. He just now lives in a future where the dagger was already destroyed. He doesn't have to wait for it to actually happen. That doesn't make any sense. And I know that because in season 1, every time the Flash did something, the headline from the future didn't change. It was still written by the same woman from the same date and about the same story, no matter what happened. Even though Green Arrow isn't going to live as long as the thing said or whatever. Adam isn't around anymore, at least not to them. Hawkman and Hawkgirl are just gone. That type of stuff doesn't exactly matter. But at a certain point, at around here, Barry and Nora get stuck in the past, right? And the Reverse Flash is talking about Savitar, like Savitar was a bigger jerk than I ever was. That's cute and everything. And he also asks Nora, is she Dawn? The thing is, at some point in the future, Barry and Iris would have had to have children named Dawn and Dawn because they are the Tornado Twins, right? But for some reason, they don't exist anymore. Now it's Nora Allen. But if Thawne is from a future where Savitar existed, which he can't possibly be, then he would know that it's Nora and not Dawn and Dawn, right? I mean, he should. He's the one that's able to manipulate the timeline. That's not the important thing. The important thing is that the Reverse Flash as a character exists so inconsistently. And the thing that they say is that the negative Speed Force shields him from the effects of the changes in the timeline. Well, if that's the case, then how come he still got erased by the events of the first season? And he would still have to be born somehow. You know, like, I get that Nora was going to the same exact time every time she went to the future to talk to the Reverse Flash because he was on death row and he's going to be executed in like an hour. But why First, why does Barry keep letting him go? Why does he keep letting him just escape? That's frustrating enough. But second, how does the Reverse Flash keep finding excuses to exist? You know, he shouldn't. He was defeated in the most definitive way possible in season 1. And we still have to get to a point where Barry and Eobard Thawne become enemies so that Eobard would go back in time to change things and kill Barry's mother. That has still not happened. But when they create the new timeline by destroying the dagger, it erases Nora from existence. But the thing is, she's not erased. The timeline, the future she's from is erased, even though those are new Speed Force rules that never existed before. But she's still there. But how come her journal still exists in the past if her future was undone? I'm gonna give myself a headache. There was no point to this video. I just wanted to rant about the timeline of The Flash for a few minutes. I need a haircut. Post in the comments if you think I need a haircut or if I should just keep growing it. Alright, I'm gonna let you go. Because for some reason my camera is stupid. So, later. Working harder, making better, moving faster, makes us stronger.